Welcome, residents of LumberJillville, to the 2023 Jillies Award Show. Tonight, we will be awarding the best of the best in women's wrestling figures for 2023. The categories tonight are Best Facescan, Best Attire, Best Figure Sculpt, Best Accessories, Mayor Aaron's Personal Pick, and the categories where the winners are selected via all of you, the LumberJillville residents, are Best AEW Figure, Best WWE Basic Figure, Best WWE Elite Figure, and the figure that has received the most votes by all of you will be awarded the Golden Co-Mayor Alexa Award and be named the LumberJillville Figure of the Year. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's show. Introducing your host, Mayor Aaron!
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the 2023 Jillies Award Show. This award show is all about celebrating women's wrestling figures. And here in LumberJillville, that's what we focus on. I review every single women's wrestling figure, and I have ever since 2020. And this is the 4th annual award show, so I'm real excited to announce those winners for tonight. What's going on with the sound? What, Dexy, you can cut that sound. All right, DJ Dexy, everyone. He's your DJ for tonight. He's going to be in charge of playing the music throughout the show and the sounds. And oh my gosh, cut the sound. Oh, that's even more creepy. Let's find a way to turn this off. You know what? I'm just going to take this thing. I'm just going to admit something to all you viewers before we get started tonight. Yeah, that's artificial crowd noise we're piping in. Truth being told, we're down 2 audience members from last year.
Yes, the Robotominus. And I am currently reprogramming them to return to their old wholesome self.
And that's settled. Okay, now I just want to start off by giving a big thank you, a big heartfelt thank you to all you residents of LumberJillville that participated in voting for the Jillies this year. There was a total of 612 votes across all social media platforms, and that's a record for us. And it was a lot of fun going through, counting them up, and seeing some of the surprise winners, which we'll get to. Now, obviously, the major award for tonight is for the Golden Co-Mayor Alexa Award, and it is the LumberJillville Women's Wrestling Figure of the Year, and it is the figure that received the most votes across all the platforms. So that'll be announced last. I'm real excited to announce it, but until then, let's just get this out of the way, okay? Let's start off with a bit of a somber note. So there were a lot of women's wrestling figures that weren't released in 2023, and this video pays tribute to them. Will we see these figures eventually down the road? Maybe. But as of now, at the beginning of 2024, these figures are stuck in the purgatory that is no ETA. Play the clip. It's emotional. And we have no one to blame for these unreleased figures, Jazzwares. But you know what? Let's change up gears and let's get some positivity going on. Okay, this first award is Mayor Aaron's Personal Pick. And what this figure award is the figure that sentimentally meant the most to me. It could be the review itself, but either way, when I see this figure review, it warms my heart and it's special to me. Now, I want to give an honorable mention to AEW Unmatched Series 7 Thunder Rosa, because in that figure review in the intro, Thunder Rosa made her appearance, and that's the first time we've had a women's wrestler appear in LumberJillville willingly. And I say that because I know you can buy cameos, and you can basically pay these wrestlers to say something for you or to promote something. I did not pay her for this. She did this out of the kindness of her heart. I reached out, she reached out, we communicated what we could do for the intro of the review, and she was so incredibly sweet and humble and made this mayor's dream come true. And her appearing in a LumberJillville video out of the kindness of her heart and her kind of respecting what I'm trying to do here in LumberJillville meant everything to me. And that was going to be the top choice. However, my personal pick is one that means a lot more to me. And it's because of my co-star in the intro of this figure. My personal pick of 2023 goes to Roxanne Perez, WWE Elite Series 106. Now, the reason this is so special is my co-star in the intro of this Roxanne Elite review was none other than my daughter. Now, anyone that's followed the channel from the beginning knows that my daughter is my entire universe. She's why I created the channel. You know, when I saw how she looked up in amazement to these women's wrestlers, I found that there was a real lack of respect and love of women's wrestling figures in the collecting community. So I wanted to make a channel dedicated to them to show the love and give them the respect they deserve. And that's why I created the channel. Now, over the years, I've seen the pride in her eyes when she talks about the channel or when she sees a video of mine. And that is the best feeling in the entire world. Now, with that being said, she's very shy, very camera shy, doesn't like to be in the videos, likes to be behind the scenes, hitting record, giving me directions, stuff like that. But for some reason, she wanted to be in the intro of this. And we just had so much fun. So much fun filming it, and she was just so proud when she watched the final product and she saw herself. I was giving her live updates, how many views it was getting, and I'll always remember that moment, and that is what it's all about, folks. Now, with that being said, let's jump right into the next award. Your 2023 Facescan of the Year goes to JC Jane, WWE Basic Series 138. That's right, a basic one, the Facescan and Sculpt of the Year. And there were a lot of great scans and sculpts this year, but I had to give it to JC. And if you don't own this figure, this might be a surprise. But if you have this figure, it's probably no surprise that this figure won the award, because this scan and sculpt is amazing. Now, JC has a very unique look to her, and this could have gone in one of two ways. Now, the GG went in the negative direction. I think that likeness is not very good, but the JC went in the best way possible, and this scan and sculpt really does capture her likeness flawlessly. The sculpt itself is unique to her. I love the little arrogant smirk that really portrays her heel persona great. And the application of the eyeliner, the eyeshadow, the lipstick is just amazing. So I think they did a great job, flawless job, capturing her likeness. And that's why this figure had the base Facescan and Sculpt of 2023. The best accessories of 2023 goes to Bianca Belair, WWE Ultimate Edition Series 19. So this was an absolute easy decision for the figure that had the best accessories of the year. Now, it is important to note this was the only women's Ultimate Edition figure that we got in 2023, but they didn't have to go so hard on this figure, and they did in a good way. And the unique accessories that we got with this Bianca are awesome. We have this unique removable hair bow, we have removable hoop earrings, we have these really unique sunglasses, and we have this puffy red jacket. We also have an alternate head with an extra pair of earrings if you want to switch out the head. But yeah, the accessories are fantastic here. And like I said, they didn't have to include all these accessories, but the fact that they did made this an easy winner. The best attire of 2023 goes to Becky Lynch, Then Now Forever 4-Pack Elite. So this was a pretty close race. There were a lot of really excellent women's wrestling figure attires this past year. But what made me decide that this Becky Lynch was the best is simply if I put them all on a shelf side by side, which I did to determine a winner. The one that stood out the most is this Becky Lynch. It is fantastic. It is a beautiful figure. It's a must-own for any wrestling figure collector out there. And it does stand out amongst all women's wrestling figures. Now, the main reason this stands out is this huge fabric train. We've never gotten this before in a women's wrestling figure, and this is something that maybe you would have saw in an Ultimate Edition figure. This Becky is not an Ultimate Edition figure. It doesn't have the Ultimate Edition articulation or all the extra accessories that Ultimate Editions come with. But in my opinion, this is about as high quality of an Elite that you can get. And it really does come down to this attire. As I mentioned, this fabric is so unique, really stands out. But the sculpting on this rubber jacket piece is excellent. And these, I guess, sunglasses, or this headpiece we'll call it, is sculpted so uniquely. It is so beautiful. And it's amazing that they went through all the effort they did on this Elite figure. It's just fantastic. And when you take all this off, the attire she has underneath is actually pretty well done as far as paint application. So this attire, from the entrance gear to the ring attire underneath, is just a 10 out of 10. Amazing. Best attire of the year. The best sculpting work of 2023 goes to Io Sky WWE Elite Series 105. The sculpting work in this Io Sky figure is truly something you have to have in hand to truly appreciate. It is fantastic, and side note, I'm really surprised this wasn't even voted in the top 5 for LumberJillville Figure of the Year. It didn't even place in the top 5, which is crazy to me because this figure is so good. And as I mentioned, as far as the sculpting goes, they put so much detail into this attire. It's fantastic. I mean, it's one of those figures, much like that Kairi Sane Elite 73 I always talk about on the channel. It's one of those figures that if you have in front of you, you could spend a long time just going over all the intricate sculpting and details that they put into this figure. And on top of that, the body sculpt itself is spot on. It looks perfect. But the attire sculpt and all the uniqueness to it is what made this the winner for the Sculpt of the Year. I love this figure that much. Now, do I still think this figure is in the running for LJV Figure of the Year for 2023? I absolutely do, and I'm real excited to see how many people vote for this figure when I put up the Elite video and the Women's Wrestling Figures of the Year video to see how many votes this gets, because I don't know how that clip made its way into the show. Kind of embarrassing. Mostly embarrassing because out of the 612 votes placed in this year's Jillies Award show, not a single vote was given to this Trish WrestleMania Elite. An Elite that I predicted would be in the running for Figure of the Year. It didn't even get a single vote. A single vote. You know what? I stand by my word. I am personally giving this Trish a vote. So it is now not voteless. It has a vote. It's my vote. This figure rules. It's awesome. It's underrated. I feel bad. It got no votes. Yeah, I'm good. All right. So the next categories were categories where the winners were voted by you. I made a specific video of AEW Women's Figures of the Year, Elite Women's Figures of the Year, and Basic Women's Figures of the Year. All those votes were counted up in the comments to determine winners in each respective categories. Now, those votes were also added to the total votes across all platforms to retrieve the LumberJillville Figure of the Year. But for now, let's go over each of the specific category winners. And here are your nominees for WWE Elite Women's Figure of the Year. In third place was Dakota Kai from Elite Series 104. In second place was Tori Wilson from Ruthless Aggression Series 5 Elite line. And your winner with 39% of the total votes in the Elite video is Becky Lynch from the Then Now Forever Target exclusive 4-pack. Now again, I was blown away when I counted up the votes and found out that Io Sky wasn't even voted to be a top 3 women's elite of 2023. It's an excellent figure. However, I think the overwhelming choice that y'all made in the votes of choosing this Becky Lynch Then Now Forever Elite from the 4-pack was a correct choice. This figure is a miniature work of art. It's beautiful. It's one of, if not the best women's wrestling figures I've ever reviewed on the channel, in my personal opinion. But this is just such an amazing figure. And for this to be an elite with all this quality, all this sculpting, all this detail, all this love put into the figure is truly unparalleled amongst all the other women's elites of the year. And here are your nominees for AEW Women's Figure of the Year. In third place, we have Thunder Rosa from Unmatched Series 7, Rare Edition out of 3,000. In second place was Jade Cargill, AEW Shop Exclusive. And your winner, with a dominant 63% of AEW votes, Ruby Soho from Unmatched Series 6. So this was a bit of a shock to me. I think the Jamie Hayter figure was the best women's wrestling figure of the year, in my personal opinion. I thought this Ruby Soho was excellent. The sculpting work, the likeness, all the attention to detail, and the tattoos, but it's way too oversized, and that scaling really does affect the figure as far as displaying goes. However, this was the runaway winner for AEW Women's Figure of the Year, and even though I prefer the Jamie Hayter, I can't argue against the votes. And this Ruby is the AEW Women's Figure of 2023. And here are all of your nominees for WWE Women's Basic of the Year. In third place was Liv Morgan from Basic Series 139. In second place, we had JC Jane from Basic Series 138. And your winner, surprising me with a whopping 53% of the total Basic votes, we have Aaliyah from Basic Series 137. Now this Aaliyah Basic is the biggest surprise as far as the votes go for the 2023 Jillies Awards. I didn't expect this to win Basic of the Year, especially as strongly as it did, but the outpouring amount of love and support that all of you voters had for this Basic really made me realize how cool of a Basic it is and how amazing it was that we finally got an Aaliyah figure after all these years. So yeah, this figure deservingly won the Basic figure of 2023, and I can see why. I absolutely love this figure, and I think y'all had a great choice. And before we get into the 2023 LumberJillville Women's Wrestling Figure of the Year, let's show some past winners. In 2020, we had Io Shirai from Elite Series 79. In 2021, we had Liv Morgan from Elite Series 85. And in 2022, last year, we had Shotzi from Elite Series 95. So as you can see, some previous winners are some pretty amazing women's wrestling figures. Now, the LumberJillville Women's Wrestling Figure of the Year Award is one determined by all of you. All 612 of those votes placed this year were counted up, and the figure that received the most is going to win the Golden Co-Mayor Alex Award and will be named the 2023 LumberJillville Women's Wrestling Figure of the Year. Now, I'm excited to announce it, so let's dive right in. And here were your finalists for LumberJillville Figure of the Year. In third place, receiving 13% of the total votes, Aaliyah from Basic Series 137. And at second place, receiving a total of 24% of the votes, Becky Lynch, Then Now Forever Elite. And your winner, receiving a whopping 29% of the total votes, goes to Bianca Belair Ultimate Edition 19. Congratulations to Bianca Belair, WWE Ultimate Edition Series 19, for being voted the LumberJillville Women's Wrestling Figure of 2023. Now, this was a fantastic surprise. It was a very close race between this figure and the Becky Lynch Then Now Forever Elite. Now, this Bianca was included in that Elite figure video. That way she could receive votes, but she wasn't eligible to win Elite of the Year because she's not an Elite. But those votes were added to all the votes across all the platforms that I used, including a poll posted on the channel, Reels, Shorts, Instagram, and that's where she took the lead and ended up winning this very close competition. And this is the first time in LumberJillville history an Ultimate Edition women's figure was awarded the Figure of the Year. Now, to be quite honest, I received that Asuka Ultimate Edition Series 20 at the very beginning of 2024, so she's eligible for the 2024 Jillies Award Show, and boy, if I've ever came across a frontrunner for Figure of the Year, it is that Asuka. But we're not here to talk about her, we're here to talk about this Bianca figure and how amazing it is. So Bianca's had a lot of Mattel figures, and they always seem to miss the mark with capturing her likeness, whether it be the face or the confusing body part choices. And here in the Ultimate Edition figure, even though it's not perfect as far as the face scan and the midsection sculpt goes, it is a vast improvement from all of her other figures. It's by far the best Bianca figure, and Bianca being such a trailblazing woman in the WWE, I am so glad that we finally got a figure to do her justice. And I'm so proud of this figure being voted as the LumberJillville Women's Wrestling Figure of the Year. Congratulations, Bianca, and thank you everybody that voted. Thanks for stopping by LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. For a first look at all future women's wrestling figure reviews, make sure to hit subscribe and become an official resident of LJV today. Head on over to ringsidecollectibles.com and use coupon code LJV at checkout to save 10% on your next order of women's wrestling figures. Now, once again, thank you all for participating, for voting, for sharing the love this Jillies Award season. It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do next year's show. Now, stay tuned. There'll be a lot more women's wrestling figure content coming to the channel very soon. Thank you for watching, and have a great night, y'all.